Huh?
Sense.
Idea is there definitely. That is the first thing. Idea. Second thing,
Sense.
competitor analysis. Then market feasibility. Yes. Then pricing. Right. Almost 70-80% average entire thing is included. So in just a matter of 1 second, right? So the same way, what he has explained in a matter of say 90 seconds, the same thing is explained in a picture in one single snapshot. Right? That is what your business model canvas is. Right? So that is how uh, the business model canvas is created. It gives you a snapshot of entire thing, right? So what are your customers, what are your value proposition, what is your say revenue model, and what is your cost, and then how profitable would be your business, right? So in one snapshot, you'll come to know what the entire business is, right? So that is what is the need of the hour today. So everyone is doing with the same thing. And earlier it was all detailed project report which was shared by the companies to the bank. But now it is all say business model canvassing is done. So it will give you the entire snapshot. Let us look at this. What is business model canvas, and then what is business model altogether. Uh, So, what a business model means, right? So, business model, as you can see, so a model which describes the rationale of how an organization caters, delivers, and captures value. So, value in the sense it is not the profit, but it is the value to the customers, right? So, customer value. So, how a business model describes the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. So, it is value is captured by the way of product, right? So, what the customer is having some requirement, right? So, there is a need for a customer. So that is presented in the form of a product, right? So that gives some value. So whenever you are say selling your product to your customer, it has to create some value, right? So then only it should solve his need. It should solve some kind of problem. So then only the product is worth of it, right? So or else it is worthless, right? So when you consider this, so product or service is delivered to the customers, and the customer provides us the revenue. On the basis of the revenue, the organization creates this revenue. So organization gets this revenue, and it wants to capture the market, right? To capture the market in the sense of say by satisfying the needs of the customer, by satisfying the wants of the customer, the value is created, right? So the value is created to the customer, and then the company also, the organization also gets the value in terms of revenue. So that is what the business model is. And then what is a business model canvas then? Right? So canvas, as you know, it is just like a drawing, a picture, painting, right? So which is drawn, that is a canvas what you make, right? So that is canvassing the business model or drawing the business model. Is the business model canvas. So here there is an idea, right? So you have selected an idea. What is that idea, and then why this idea? So why this idea has come? So that is represented here. And then what is the business value? Who are the customers? Right. So on entrepreneurship day we had the same thing, right? So business model canvas was there. I think the only business plan presentation was there. How many teams were there? Around some 7-8 teams. 7-8 teams. Out of 8 teams, so more than 4 teams were with momos. Right? 3 teams. Huh? 3 teams. Majority of the people were with momos, right? So now earlier it was vada pav, now it is momos. Right? It is all the trend. How the trend goes. So why a business model? So why this idea? So that has to be justified. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅವರು ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ, right? So that is why the idea has to be taken, right? So why this idea, that has to be justified, and then what is the business value you are going to create by your idea, right? So the value creation, and then build the model. So once you have that idea into concrete, right? So once you have with justification, once you have that idea, so that idea can be put in say BMC model, which is having of a 9-block model is that. In that block you are going to fit your idea. Right, that is one thing. And then tell the story. Telling the story is convincing. Right, so as he did to his father, the same thing, the story has to be told by you. You have to convince your banker so that he can say readily accept for the say funds. And then telling the story is then present why, how, what, who, where, when. You should solve all your WH questions. Right. So how you are going to sell, whom you are going to sell, what are you going to sell, where you are going to sell, how you are going to generate your revenues. All answers to all the WH questions should be there in your story. And then finally it is business to have it in action. So only planning is not required, execution also should be there, right? So that is what it talks about business model. See what exactly a business model is. It is a tool to create and analyze the business models, right? So that is business model canvas. The canvassing is a tool. So to create and analyze the business model. So different business models are there with all different revenue models. So entire now you can see with all innovation, with all new things, all say new models have come in, right? So new business models which have never existed some 5 years or 10 years before, right? So maybe it is Uber, maybe it is Ola, all different kinds of entirely different business models. Never people might have thought of, right? So 10 years before, no one would have thought of about hiring a taxi by booking online and everything, right? So you never thought that someone would bring you some parcel from the hotel, right? So Swiggy and Zomato does this, right? So you never imagine, people never imagined some 10 years back that such kind of businesses would be existing. So that is the business model, right? So that is the entire business model, that is the revenue model which can be created. So say to create and analyze the different types of business models. So earlier on either you are generating product or you are giving some kind of a service. So services we never thought of, right? So such kind of services. So that is the entirely different new business models have come up. So many in different spaces, like maybe in IT, maybe in ITGS. So some many kind of revenue models have come in, many kinds of different business models have come in. We don't know. We are very much ignorant, we are very, very far behind. So what kind of business models people are creating. Right? So they are very, very rare, very, very different. Right? So people are selling what it is called, I don't know, remember the chemical name. Bavi nodri, Bavi green color, what is it called? Algae. There is another name for it. That is also a business now. They are extracting oil from that. Right? So that is also a kind of a business. Right? So there are various kinds of different business models have come in. You can never imagine such kind of business models are there. Right? And then say with the business model canvas, what one can do is you can create a new business model easily. So that is one thing with the help of BMC, and then analyze and update your existing business model. So once that the business model frame it will not end there, right? So continuous revision has to be done with the business model. So that is what it talks about. We can categorize this entire business model into three different segments. So that is, one segment is about feasibility. Feasibility talks about whether it is possible, right? So possible or whether we can deliver such kind of a product or not. And another way is desirability, whether it is desirable. Right? So num product but whether the customer accepts our product or not. Right? So that is the customer desirability, whether the customer desires our product or not. Right? So whether it wants it or not. So that is on one side, on the desirability. And finally it is viability. Now ready loss business model. Right? So that is why feasibility is also important. So this can be categorized into three different business models. Right? So three different sub segments we can put it in. So one side is the feasibility, one side is the desirability, and one side is the revenue. Right? So you can also call it as revenue model, whether it is viable financially. That the second last, the bottom two blocks talk about the feasibility in terms of finance, and these four blocks talk about desirability, and these three blocks talk about the feasibility. Yes, there are 9 building blocks. The first block is the customer segment, second is value proposition, third is channels through which you are going to deliver, fourth is customer relationships, fifth is revenue streams, and then key resources, key activities, key partnerships, and finally it is the cost structure. Right? So with 9 different blocks, you can create your own business model. These are the different 9 blocks which are there. Right? So 9 business blocks are there. And then customer segments, this is the first block. So what it talks about, it is on the right extreme end. So which customers and users you are serving. So what is your target customer, right? So what you are doing STP, segmenting, targeting, and then positioning what to do. So STP, it talks about which customers and users are you serving, which jobs do they really want to get done, right? So what is your customer wants his job to be get done, right? So what is your problem? To address the problem, customer problem directly, and then to provide a service by understanding that business problem. Right, so Ola, Uber have come up with this thing only, right? So Swiggy and Zomato have come up with that it was a hardcore burning problem, right? So every